What's up, y'all? My name is Nate. This is Throttle Only. This is a 2022 Kia Sorento. Let's check it out. All right, so let's kick off this review talking about this beautiful paint color. So this paint color is wolf gray, and I absolutely love it. I really do like this black and this gray contrast that we have going on. I think it looks pretty sick. And then as we look at this hood, I do count 4 different body lines on this hood, and it is a kind of short hood as well for how tall and long this vehicle is, but it looks good nonetheless. And then as we go ahead and move on down from there, you are going to have a Kia badge in the center. And then now I kind of like Kia's new logo. It looks a lot better, and honestly, I think it works really well throughout their entire lineup as well. It is going to be brushed in this aluminum color. And then you are going to have this beautiful blacked out grille. It is going to have a lot of dimension to it as well, allowing airflow to go ahead and push to that engine. As we come on down just a little bit, you're going to have a small area here that is going to be for some venting. And as we come on down further, more venting. And then you are going to have an area in the center there that's going to be for your radar cruise and all that good stuff. So the last thing styling wise I want to talk about up front is going to be these headlights. So they are going to have LED projector headlights. If you look closely, you are going to see that there are actually 3 individual headlamps here, and they are super bright at night. You might also notice the daytime running lamp here in white. It looks really nice with this styling. And if you go ahead and turn on your hazards or your turn signal, whatever, it is going to replace in an amber color. And wow, it is very nice at nighttime. And then honestly, it does have a good presence during the day as well. So before we go ahead and move on, let's just go ahead and take a look at this engine since we're already up here. So under the hood here, we're going to have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's going to push out 281 horsepower, and it's also going to have 311 foot-pounds of torque. Let's go ahead and listen to the exhaust and see if it sounds any good. So looking at the side profile here of the vehicle, I think it looks really nice. Let's go ahead and just point out the fuel door here real quick. So you can just push to open this. You do not have to open it from inside the cabin. This is also going to have some standard roof rails as well. And then with these door handles, you can lock and unlock them primarily from the front here. It is going to have a small black button on it to lock and unlock. Then as we look at these mirrors, they are going to have the LED indicator on the outside. It does have a blind spot monitoring system as well, and that will indicate on the inside of that mirror as well. As we come on forward and down, you might also notice there's this black piece here. Kind of reminds me of a Range Rover or something like that, where maybe there should be some badging or some venting or something, but it really is just a gloss black styling piece, but I think it still looks pretty good. And then as we look lower, you are going to have this side skirt that's going to be in black that contrasts really well with this wolf gray color. And then looking at these wheels, so these wheels are going to be the 20-inch alloy wheels, and again, finished off in black. I am definitely a fan. And then lastly, I did want to point out the gloss black also continues just over that wheel well too. It's not going to be finished off in the standard ABS plastic you might see in some other vehicles. All right, so now that we're at the rear here, let's just go ahead and start with the top. So in the center here, you are going to have your gray antenna. It looks pretty good. And then you're also going to have these roof rails in the back. They are going to be finished off in this gloss color. You can kind of see them from behind. And then you are going to have a pretty good looking spoiler here. It is going to come out pretty far as well, and it has these little dips in it that gives it some nice dimension. And that's also going to be where your third brake light is going to be housed. And looking at these windows, they are going to have those defroster lines in them. And then below that, you're also going to have that aluminum brushed Kia badge. And then as we work our way down, you are going to have a reverse camera. Your Sorento lettering and badging is just going to be below that. You're also going to have an all-wheel drive badge, since this is the SX all-wheel drive model with torque vectoring. And then below that, you'll also have some fake venting and some fake exhaust. Your real exhaust tip, however, is going to be on this left side here, and it's just going to be under the vehicle. So this color is going to be wolf gray. The starting MSRP is going to be $38,890 US. It's going to have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's going to have an automatic transmission. And as far as the drivetrain, it's going to be all-wheel drive with torque vectoring and also a center locking differential. It's going to push out 281 horsepower, 311 foot-pounds of torque. And as far as the fuel economy, it will have 22 miles per gallon in the city, 29 on the highway, and 25 combined. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the trunk space now on this beautiful Kia Sorento. So let's go ahead and start with this key fob here. So all of your items are going to be on the side. Starting at the top, you're going to have your lock button, your unlock, your lift gate open button there, and then also your alarm button. This will also have a manual key as well. If you push this button here down below, it'll go ahead and retract that out. And then lastly, you're also going to have a Kia logo here on the bottom, as well as your remote start button. All you have to do is hold that down there. So then to go ahead and open the trunk, of course, there are going to be multiple ways you can do so. I'm going to go ahead and use the key fob here and unlock it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the trunk space. So this will have the 6-seater configuration, and to go ahead and fold down these rear seats, you'll have to use these tabs right here. So you go ahead and pull like this, and then you'll also have to use your other hand to push the seat down. And then you can also do the same thing on this side as well. And that's going to be how much space you're going to have. There's also going to be this area right here that you can go ahead and pull open. There'll be some storage space on this side for you. You're also going to have a jack, and if you're looking for the spare will be underneath. And then for your rear passengers, you're also going to have some cup holders right here, and then a storage area right here, as well as one USB port. And you're also going to have the same thing on the other side, but except you're also going to have a 12-volt adapter here. And then you can also fold down the second row, which are going to be captain's chairs. And to do that, go ahead and push this button. And the other side. And of course, you will have to move those front seats forward if you want them to go all the way down. So as you begin to enter the vehicle, you're going to be met with this nice Sorento sill. It's going to look aluminum, and then it's not going to be illuminated, but it looks really nice. And then looking at these door panels, you're going to have 2 cup holders on them, a speaker. You're going to have some pretty nice premium looking material, and it does feel pretty nice and soft. It does have some gloss black on there as well, a pretty decent sized grab handle as well, and then 1 window switch and no locking controls. So clearly this is a children's vehicle, but I have plenty of room. I am sitting behind myself at 6'1", and there's some nice dimension here and contours in the seat so that I do have enough room, but even still, there is plenty. Also behind these seats, you're going to have an area for storage that is 2-fold. And then looking at these seats, this is going to be Syntex, what they call it, and then it will have 2 different ways that you can go ahead and pull forward these seats. You can do it on the bottom here and then also at the top. And if you do want to put the seat back, you will have to manually put it back, and there is a grab handle just underneath the seat here. You're also going to have this giant panoramic roof. There's going to be 2 ventings here in the back for your captain's passengers. You're also going to have a total of 3 USBs in this area specifically, 2 of which are going to be on the driver's seat and the passenger seat. You're also going to have a 12-volt that's going to be down below, and then your last USB. And then on the inside here of these captain's chairs, you're going to have a small storage pocket as well as another armrest. As we walk up to the passenger door here, so you are going to have that beautiful material I was talking about in the rear. You're going to have your locking and unlock controls as well as a window switch there. Pretty decent sized grab handle, same as the rear. As we come into the vehicle, there's your Sorento sill there. Looking at these seats, so this is going to be that Syntex seats that I was talking about, and then you're going to have some automatic controls there as well. This will also come with a Sorento cloth mat here, and that's going to be throughout the vehicle. Your glove box is going to be housed right there. And you have some pretty nice material up here just in front of your passenger. It does have a brown look to it. And then they are going to have 2 vents right there. And then looking at the driver door here, so you're going to have all of your window controls right here. All 4, of course. Your child lock right there. Your unlock and lock, as well as your mirror adjustment controls, are going to be up there too. And again, really nice premium looking material here, and it is a little bit soft touch, but not too much. Coming into the vehicle, you're going to have that Sorento sill once again. You're going to have a rubber dead pedal as well as rubber pedals in general. You're going to have some automatic seat controls as well as some lumbar support adjustment. There's your Syntex material there on those seats. And then on the left side here, you're going to have your illumination controls here. This is going to be your trunk button. You can turn off your traction control and your lane assist. You will also have 2 vents. All right, so continuing with the interior here, we're going to start with the center console. So the center console is a little bit on the harder side. As I press down, you can see it doesn't indent very much at all. But as we open it up, you have a storage area here that is removable. And you can see there is a pretty good amount of storage space down below there. And then there's also going to be a little bit of storage here and here. And above from that, you're going to have your cup holders. Your shift selector is going to be there as well. And then you are going to have all of the drive modes here. There's going to be Smart Mode, Sport, Comfort, Eco, Snow. And if it's picking up here, this is going to be your center lock differential. And if you press that, it will go ahead and highlight in orange. And it has some nice texture on it as well down here. Down from that, you're going to have your auto off button, auto hold, your auto descent, an electronic parking brake, your parking sensors off, and then also a camera button. If I push this camera button, then you'll have a rear view camera here, and that will go ahead and pop up. And this will also have another view as well. If I push this, you'll also have a top-down view. Additionally, in the center here, both the driver and the passenger are going to have heated seats. To toggle them, you'll just push up once, and you'll have 3 levels of that. And if you push here, all of this is going to be coated in some gloss black, but you're going to have 3 USBs here. This is also going to have wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and that's where you plug that in. There's a little bit of storage space here, and then of course there is a wireless charging port right there. And you can see with this orange light that's lit up, it shows that my phone is actually charging. Just up from that, you're gonna have all of your AC controls, pretty easy to use. I really like this double venting system that they have here. It looks pretty cool. If you wanted to shut it off, you'll just push down like this, and then you can push it back up to open it. You have your auto, off, your front and your rear defrosters, and all of your basic controls. Something that is interesting though, that this small area here is actually touchscreen. It is not actual toggle buttons like these and these. And then this is going to be our infotainment screen. It is going to be a 12.3-inch display. However, you might notice that there is some area here that's not actually used for the display. So that's really just going to make it a 10.25-inch touch display. And so the buttons on the side are not actual physical buttons. However, you just use touch to navigate with them. So if I were to push map here, navigation, radio, you can see it is a little laggy. If I go ahead and push setup here, seek, favorites, we're going to go back to setup. And so you can see all of the items that you could potentially configure here. It has vehicle, navigation, sound, device connections, user profile, voice recognition, screen theme layout, display, button, UVO, and general. If we hit general, that of course is going to bring up a long list of items that you can go ahead and configure. But the bottom line is this infotainment has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And then looking at the steering wheel here, so it's a pretty basic steering wheel. It is going to be very nice and round. It is pretty hard as well. It does have some light leather wrapped in it. On this side, on the left side of the steering wheel, you're going to have the media controls there. If you hit the mode button, that is going to control the radio, and you do have some phone controls down below as well. And then on the right side of the steering wheel, you are going to have some cruise control options here. You can hit mode, and that's going to go ahead and engage it. And then this is your lane keep options, and then your distance control from there. If this file button here is pushed, you can see in the center here, that will change what is there. Now to further move from your menus right here, you'll have to push this button right here. And that will give you a little bit more options of what's going on. So you can see it is pretty standard. I personally like to just keep it in the specific miles per hour. And then also you can change different drive modes. So currently I am in Smart. And while you do that, it will change right here in the center. And it will also change right here in the display section. And then up top here, you can open the panoramic roof by just sliding your finger back or forward, and it will open all the way back for you. And if you want to crack it, you can just push one time and it will crack it and keep the whole panoramic roof open for you. All right, so we're in the Kia Sorento. Let's go ahead and start with a 0 to 60. I am going to put it in sport mode. Honestly, this is really not that bad. For the size of this vehicle, I'm actually pretty happy with this horsepower number and how it feels, at least. So the main thing that I really love about this vehicle is going to be the adaptive cruise control and its lane capabilities. So you can really just turn this on the freeway, wherever you're at, whatever it is, and you don't have to touch the wheel for a really long time. I'd say at least 2 or 3 minutes. I also own a Tesla, and I'm constantly having to put my hand or my knee or whatever is just touch the steering wheel just to make sure that the car knows that I am paying attention. And of course I am paying attention, but it's just a little bit nicer to not have to constantly baby the system, and it works really well. And it also allows you to follow a little bit closer than Tesla as well. So some more things about this vehicle: the seats up front are a little bit more comfortable than the back seats, especially with those captain's chairs. I feel like the captain's chairs are a little bit middle of the road as far as comfort, but everything else in this vehicle, it feels very nice and premium. Your blind spot monitoring system works pretty well as well, and there's a pretty good amount of visibility in here too. I'm going to put it into smart mode and see how this 0 to 60 differs. So honestly, I can tell there is a small amount of difference, but I really like driving this car in smart mode because it will toggle between sport, comfort, and eco modes, and it honestly feels pretty nice that way. Another thing too about this smart system, I noticed with the torque vectoring that it will primarily drive you in front wheel drive, and then if you add just a little bit of power, it'll add some rear wheel drive. So it does look like it is a front wheel drive bias system, but nonetheless it works really well. So if you're looking for one of these vehicles, honestly, I would highly recommend it. Kia has really been kicking up their game recently. This car looks good, it feels good, there's tons of storage space, tons of space for your kids. So if you're looking for one of these, I would highly recommend it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.